Bonjour! For this lesson, we'll learn about interrogative and exclamative quel. So, quel, you might have already seen with quel âge as-tu? Or quelle heure est-il? Literally, which age have you? And what we translate as, how old are you? And what time is it? Quelle heure est-il? So we just used quel and translated it as how, like how old are you? And also what time is it? But quel can also be thought of as just which. And that's really what I'm going to lean towards in translating it. It should be which, but in some contexts it just translates differently because English is not the same thing as French. I know that seems a little obvious, but sometimes when you try to do things like, for instance, add an apostrophe S, you're saying that you feel like these two languages should be exactly similar and they should do the same things just with different words. But that's not true. A language is not just doing the same thing with different words. It's also doing different things. So this is one of those, this word quel, and we'll say is which here. And so what you need to know about quel is that it's pretty much like an adjective, which means it needs to agree or match the noun that it is going with, which is why when you saw how old are you or which age have you, it was spelled quel âge as-tu. Why was it this spelling? Well, because âge is masculine and singular. And when you learned about the time, it was quelle heure est-il. Why was it this spelling? Well, because heure is feminine and singular. Okay? So, let's look at all of our spellings. We've already seen a little bit of that. So, we have quelle, masculine. So, feminine, we're just going to do a double L and E. Quelle, which is similar to Michael and Michel. Michael ends in an EL. Michelle ends in an ELLE. So that's because it's from the French. We're using that French ending. Quelle. And making them both plural is actually pretty simple. We just add an S, and again, we have the double L and then the E, and we add an S. So when do you have to remember to make it plural or feminine? Well, look at the word that's immediately after it. And if that's plural, okay, like which cars do you like? Well, cars, feminine, and cars, plural. You'd have to use those, okay? You'd have to use quelle, the feminine plural version. Look at the word that's immediately following it. Now, quelle can also be used as an exclamation like, oh, what a beautiful car. So you could say, quelle belle voiture. And we're using it again as what, okay? But really it looks like which beautiful car. Remember, our translations are not exactly word for word, and you need to look at the context. So again, quelle can be spelled 4 different ways depending on its number and its gender, and you need to figure that out by looking at the noun that it is paired with.